ShartimusPrime, reading comics, toys are hella sick, hella whacking it, taking bad hits, taking bad shits, Subscribe,
their names are Bill and Lance Shartimus.
Hey, what's up you guys? ShartimusPrime here, doing another Avengers Age of Ultron movie action figure review on the Comicave Studios Iron Man Mark 43 1/12 scale die-cast figure. If you're trying to pick this up, you can pre-order it right now.
Big! Get your big badass toys at BigBadToyStore.com. Click the link in the description below.
And I gotta give a big thanks to Alfonso and fam for making this review possible. Thank you so much for this awesome birthday gift. This is incredible. These figures are not cheap, and I've been very curious about this particular piece, so thank you so much, man. It really means a lot to me. Alright, anyway, looking on the side right over here, you can see some nice foil writing of Iron Man Mark 43, and it says Omni Class 1/12 scale. Then on the back, you can see it says 75% die-cast metal, LED lights, articulated, 20 points at least, playability, and it is mobile. And then you can see that the packaging over here is very similar to an iPhone. It has this saran wrap all the way through over here, and it's about the size of an iPhone case, so I don't know, I just think that's kind of neat. Anyway, let's get to it and crack this thing open. Alright, so I actually just took the plastic wrap off of this thing, and I gotta talk about the packaging a little bit longer with this piece because it is actually quite impressive. You get this little fabric flap right over here, and this side right over here is held together with a magnet, and you can pull this apart, and you can see these little compartments for the accessories, and you can see the figure right over there. And this is actually quite unique. I have never seen this before, and when it says mobile on the back right over here, that just means that it makes it easy for you to take this anywhere. So you can just stick your finger in this piece right here, and you could lift all these pieces out. And I think that's just really smart. So you can take the figure with you anywhere you want to take it. Alright, let's actually get this thing open. And here's the Mark 43 Iron Man out of the packaging with his accessories applied over here in a pose that I feel like is very necessary to determine how good a figure is. If I can get a figure, or especially an Iron Man figure, in a flight pose like this, then it makes me happy. And I'm very happy with this figure. I really like it a lot. I like it a lot more than I thought I would. I can get him into more dynamic poses than I've seen in some of the ads that I've seen, so it just makes me thrilled that I can get him into this flying pose. I'm very happy with that. I do think there's some points of articulation that could have been done a little bit differently, a little bit better, but for the most part, I feel like I have a 6-inch scale hot toy figure, and I feel like that's what they're trying to do here. I really like the paint apps on this a lot. Very nice paint. I really like the effects, and he does come with a lot of interchangeable hands. So let's take a closer look at all the accessories that come with this Iron Man figure, and then we'll take a closer look at Mark 43. Now this figure does come with a lot, but I still think that it should have come with a flight stand. I would have liked to have a flight stand, but at the same time, while putting it on that Mafex stand earlier, it was very tricky. So I could see how the development of a proper stand for a die-cast 6-inch figure could have been a little bit more troubling than what may seem worth the time. But anyway, looking at this, we have 5 pairs of interchangeable hands over here. We get a pair of fisted hands, we get these gripping hands, and then we get 3 different repulsor blasting hands. These ones right over here, these ones are just aimed straight downward, and then these have the tilt going upward, and then these ones have a slot for these effects right over here, which I really like a lot. These are very cool flame effects. Very hard plastic, and I really like this fade going on with the orange into the yellow into the clear. This tip right over here is kind of angled a little bit. Then here's the effects for the feet, which look great as well. So I think they did a fantastic job on these. And then one thing I wanted to say is that actually putting these hands on here is trickier than I'd like it to be. I always prefer the straight peg system instead of these rounded off pegs. It's just easier to work with. And as you can see, as I put this on for the camera, it's probably going to go on super easy, right? No? Oh, see, yeah, it's just because alright, there it goes. See, and that's not very hard, but it's just a little trickier than I'd like it to be. And every single one of the hands have this little hinged flap piece right over here, which I think is really good. I think that's pretty great. Every single one of them have that, so I think that's very awesome. Anyway, plugging in one of the effects into the hands, you can see that they're tilted at an angle. You have to get the right one for the right side. Then that goes up like that, and I think that looks really cool. I really like that a lot, but sometimes they want to fall out, so you have to make sure it's securely in there. Same thing for the feet. You get this little hole right here at the bottom of each boot, and then you just put this right in right over here, and that looks really cool. Now we also get these other accessories right over here. You get this little missile, which looks awesome. I absolutely love this one. Look at the little detail with the stripes right there. Very nice silver paint as well, so I'm really digging that. Then you also get these little shoulder missiles right over here, which look awesome, but very difficult to put on the figure. I don't really like putting these on the figure. I feel like I have to remove the shoulder pads first before putting them into the little holes right there. Here, I'll demonstrate that. And these are meant to come off. I've popped them off several times, and I don't feel like they're anywhere near breaking at all whatsoever. But yeah, you gotta have to kind of like wedge that into that hole right over there, tilt it back, and then put the shoulder pad back on, which is not always the funnest thing in the world because you have to make sure you have it angled right over here, and then have this little piece go right over it and everything, and that could be troublesome sometimes, you know, but at least it works. Nothing feels like it's breaking. I'm not getting any real paint chipping or anything like that. But yeah, if you want to see how it looks with both of them on there, that's how it looks. Now to properly get that forearm missile on there, you want to use one of the fisted hands. And just to demonstrate putting that on. Okay, 2 times in a row, it was very easy putting the hands on. See, that's how it works with the YouTube videos. You know, you complain about something, and then when you actually try to do it, boom, it's super easy peasy. But here's the missile right on there, and I think that looks awesome. Really good job on that. I really like it. One thing I do have to mention is that at one point while putting the right hand on here, half of this peg did come off, but I was able to put it right back on together and use it several times since then. So it's not a big deal, but I just felt like it was something worth mentioning. As far as the overall sculpt and paint goes for this figure, I really like it a lot. I think it looks really good. Very metallic looking. Of course, it's die cast, but the paint just looks absolutely fantastic. I really dig it. Very nice gold colors, very nice bright red. I like how they have black paint in these seams over here. So I'm really digging that. One thing I will say though is that the figure does seem to be a little gappy in parts, and you'll see what I mean as I go through this piece. Now he does have a light function here, which I like a lot because, hey, look, it's just a switch on the back and you do not have to insert the batteries yourself. I love that. But yeah, just flip that up right there. Very cool with that nice bluish hue in it. I really dig it a lot. The arc reactor looks great. And I turn down the lights a little bit over here. You can see it just shines a little brighter. I think that looks sweet, so I'm very pleased with that. I haven't had it on for too long. You know, I've taken some pictures with it like this, but I tend to just easily just shut it off, repose it, and then turn it right back on, and I love that. That's very easy to work with. I'm going to just keep comparing this figure to a Hot Toy because to me it really comes off as a 6-inch scale Hot Toy figure. But looking right over here, we got all kinds of nice detail, nice black paint right there on the inside. That looks really sweet underneath the armpit. Nice attention to details on this guy. I really like it a lot. As far as the gappy parts, you know, I'm saying like around the wrist right over here, but they make up for it a little bit with this flap, so that definitely helps. I'm really glad that they included that. And then we get these parts right over here. The shoulder pads have 2 joints on them, so when you articulate it around, you can move these any which way to try to fill up that space, so I think that's pretty clever. I like how they did that. And then you get these sections right here that detach. Again, very much like a Hot Toy figure. Unfortunately, this one right over here bothers me some because I can't really get that little piece covered up. So you can see some of the electronic wiring and whatever's going on down there. I mean, I guess if you have it crunching forward, it's hidden. Which I guess is the main reason why they make it separate like that, so you can get the ab crunch going. So there it goes. Now it's hidden. But yeah, so if you want to just have the figure just standing straight up and down, you don't really want to detach these parts right here. But I do like that you can shift this up and down as you like. And again, a lot of nice paint apps and details sculpted in there. I really dig that. There's Iron Man butt. And coming around on the back, you actually do get these air brakes right here. You could lift them away from the figure just a little bit and then lift them up. They're very small. And then they just lift up just a tad right there, and you can see some of the detail underneath. So I think that's really cool. Same thing on this side right over here. Then to switch out the batteries, you just pick this plate off right there. You can see the 2 batteries inside. You just put that back on, and then this piece is die cast as well. So very nice. And then looking at the legs, look very good. Again, I really love the paint apps. Nice sculpted details throughout on this guy. As you bend the knee, you can see that they continue with the sculpted detail throughout. Then we get this little added bonus feature right over here on the calf. You get this little booster piece right here, and we get some nice little wires. I love that stuff, man. Ah, that's sick. I really dig that a lot. I think that's pretty sweet. And then he does have these little hinges right over here above and behind the ankle, so it allows for a lot of ankle movement and stuff, so I think that's really cool. Nice little strip of silver paint right there. Those look pretty good. Of course, he does have the peg holes, and he does have marble written at the bottom, and they even sculpted at the bottom of the feet. Oop, and the flap opens up on the other side of the leg too, so that's really neat. Man, I love attention to detail like that. Always impresses me. Now for the articulation. You can move his head up a fair amount. I wish the head could move up a little bit more than that, but that is not bad at all. That's a lot more than I actually thought that the head would move up on this figure based off the promo pics. So I think that's pretty sweet. You can move the head downward a little bit. Just that much with the neck and head joints. You can move the head side to side, so you get the side to side rotation, and we also get some neck and head pivot right over here too. One thing I want to mention is while tilting the head back, sometimes I will pop this off, but very easily put it right back on there. As you can see, there's the port right over there. Nothing breaks on me or anything. I can turn the switch and everything works just fine as it did before, so that's pretty awesome. Great engineering on that part. You get the shoulder pads, as I'd already mentioned. They do have the double hinges where you could lift them all the way up right over here, plus rotation, so that's really helpful. You get this little joint in here that moves backward at the armpit. It doesn't really move forward that much, but you can move it back more so. Shoulder joints move outward all the way. You can move them down all the way, forward. You get a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows that bend in pretty well. You get rotation at the wrists, and they're on that ball hinge so that they can turn in any direction. I think that's nice. And then you also get a diaphragm joint that turns side to side right over here without lifting it up. You get a little bit of pivot right there, and a little bit of crunching, and a little bit of back crunch too. And then you can shift up right over here at the center, and then you can get a little bit more movement, and then, well, now I've detached it right here at the bottom as well. So now both of those parts right there are detached. So you get a total movement forward without moving the legs. Let's see, you can move it forward that much, which isn't too bad. And then moving backward that much. Again, not too bad. And then you also get the side-to-side movement in total, moving that much. So you don't get that much side-to-side movement, but it's enough. So far, you know, the limitation as far as side-to-side movement hasn't bothered me yet. You get these hinges at the hips that allow them to move downward, which is great. So it allows you to move the legs all the way outward, and you can get them to kick all the way forward and all the way back. You get the upper thigh swivel. This is actually the ball joint at the hip moving, but you also get a side-to-side swivel over there too. Double jointed knees bend in that much, and then the ankle actually detaches a little bit, as you can see right there, which is great. And then you do get those flaps, as I had mentioned earlier, so you can move the ankles down that much. You can move them up. You get side-to-side movement, ankle pivot, and toe articulation. I will say the toe joint did get very loose on one of these for me. I think it was this one right over here. Yeah, this one did get very loose. So now to measure out this figure, you can see that Iron Man is standing just a little under 6.5 inches tall. So here's our Comicave Mark 43 Iron Man compared to the Hasbro Marvel Legends Mark 43 Iron Man, and you can see that this Comicave figure is a bit shorter, but look at the paint, man. Wow, this looks so cool compared to this one right here. And then here's a Comicave Mark 43 compared to the SH Figuarts Mark 45, and then you can see that they are both the same height, but I do feel like the Comicave figure is a little bulkier. And then here's Mark 43 next to the Marvel Legends Civil War Captain America figure, and you can see that they're standing at the same height. I would like Iron Man to be a little bit taller than Cap, but I do think that you could use this in your Marvel Legends display. And then here's the Comicave Studios Mark 43 Iron Man compared to the Hot Toys 1/6 scale Mark 43 Iron Man, and you can see that these both have very similar paint jobs. They're both very bright colors over here. Now I compared this figure a lot to the Hot Toys version. Of course the Hot Toy has more paint detail in it. There's more fading and a little bit more battle damage and stuff like that going on here. But I do think the quality of the figures are definitely comparable, and I'll still stand behind this being the closest thing to a 6-inch scale Hot Toy for an Iron Man figure. Then here's Mark 43 next to the Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man. Now it's not very difficult at all to get this figure in the epic hero landing pose, right? This is pretty sweet, so I'm glad I could do that. I still wish the figure could look up a little bit more than that, but the fact that I can get him into this pose looking pretty sweet like this, you know, it doesn't really bother me that much, especially like that. That looks pretty cool. Again, there's some things to complain about, you know, a little gappy right over there, and then switching the hands out is a little difficult for me. But for the most part, I really like this figure, and I like how easy you can just turn the switch on right down there. Yeah, it looks so sick, man. Oh, that's pretty awesome. Now, this figure is not cheap, but do I think that it's worth the price point? I actually do think it is worth the price point. I think they lived up to it. The quality is there. You get a lot of accessories, so I do think Comicave Studios did a very good job with this figure, and I'm probably going to pick up some more of these. Again, thank you, Ambrose, for this awesome birthday present. I really appreciate it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment down below, and let the world know what you think. If you want to stick around for a moment, I'll have a couple boxes popping up right over here if you want to check out my previous videos. Also, if you have not subscribed already, go ahead and check out the subscribe circle article that'll be popping up over there if you want to see more videos to come your way in the future. If you want to see a photo gallery of images, they'll be up at marvelousnews.com. Please follow me on the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm almost at 30,000 followers on Instagram. Come on, you guys, gotta make that happen, huh? Make it happen for me. All right, links all in the description below, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Posing action figures, I'm posing action figures, I'm posing action figures every day. I'm posing action figures, I'm posing action figures, I'm posing action figures, it's okay.
That's crispy.
Marvel Legends Big Time Letdowns, but